Well, it's time I come on here and tell a story, isn't it? So, I was thinking about when I was young. I met several people in my life. One in particular was named Grace Robinson. Well, I used to go to her house and I used to knock on her door the first time I met her. This is all going to pertain to why I write poems. She was the first one that had me reading poems. Okay? So I would read poems. I'd go over there when I first met her. I was young, didn't have any money or anything. I was about 12 or 11 or so. And I'm coming on here to talk about Grace Robinson because without Grace, I probably wouldn't be a writer. Okay? Because at a very young age, she had me go in this room that was really cool. Lots of magazines in there, okay? And these magazines at the very last page had poetry. Now, if I didn't read them right, she'd stop me and make me start again. And that I'd do. And so I'd read these poems out of the last page of Arizona Highways. Well, she was blind, and when I first met her, I knocked on her door and asked her if I could sweep her porch or do anything to earn some money. So I've always been a worker. So she let me in, and I'd start sweeping, and I noticed that her eyes were closed. Of course, she was blind. She had Vaseline on them, and then she'd put tape on this clock, to see what time it was. Her house was nice, but she was a writer as well, of course. On her typewriter, she had pieces of tape as well. And, of course, Braille books all around. And come to think of it, hear that chime that I've got blowing there with that fan? Some people I like have clocks in their house that chime. And when they chime, I like that. It's a peaceful feeling to me. So I let that kind of chime and ring. But she had a clock like that as well. Miss Robinson did. Bless her soul, rest her soul in heaven with the Lord. She was a believer. She didn't talk much about Jesus, but I could feel the peace on her. Those kind of people you meet, they ain't got to say much, but you just know something special about them. That was Grace Robinson. So I'd go over there and she'd give me a few bucks and I'd clean the porch and this and that. But it's kind of story time this evening. I like to come on here and talk about the different things and people I've met in my life. Because I've met some wonderful people. All you can do is if someone's not feeling real good is just say a kind word to them. And hope it'll lift them up, or like tonight I made that, I just felt like cooking tonight. Sometimes we buy those little baby carrots, and those baby carrots are, something you can either eat with your ranch dip, but if you throw some of them in a pot boiling with a little bit of vegetarian butter and some chicken broth and go through your fridge and get some spinach out that you haven't used, now I freeze my spinach. Because if you freeze spinach, it's a lot easier to work with. I feel like it is. Like a smoothie, you can never really make a good smoothie out of a banana that's not froze. So there's certain ways of doing things. But back to Grace Robinson. She was really dear to me, She didn't live far. I'd knock at her door, sweep her porch, read the poetry, listen to her clock. And she was just wonderful. God put her in my life for a reason. But she's the one that instilled it in me that if you have feelings, you can write them down. If you have thoughts, you can paint them. If you have sad feelings, you can always do art, You don't have to go to college to do art, though some people believe that, you have to. But I believe that art is really in your heart. It's just a perspective and the way that you look at things in color. And it's a wonderful thing. You know, I like to sketch and stuff, but I'm not against any type of education or something that could lift you up to a little higher place, you know, in something that you enjoy. But for me, I like to paint. I like to mix colors. They have two kinds of artists that mix colors on the palette or the canvas. I seem to like to work mine, you know, on the canvas and do it that way. But yeah, I've met some really interesting people in my life. I wanted to talk about Grace Robinson tonight because she's so special, you know. She was a very special person to me that taught me some of the arts, okay? So if you meet somebody and they want to show you about the arts, poetry, writing, painting, always know that these kind of people are wonderful because they want to share something with you, okay? If you can share something wonderful and sweet and good and give somebody an opportunity, you know, to have a chance to, you know, ignite something in them that would grow or, you know, magnify oneself, that's kind of a beautiful thing. So she magnified that. She ignited it in me. And as a child, I enjoyed that. And thank you, Grace Robinson. I know you're not alive anymore, but your spirit's still alive in me. So it's Miss Cold Night talking about Grace Robinson. And she's just, you know, somebody you won't forget. She had real soft cashmere sweaters on that had like a floral prints, and her eyes kind of fluttered, like I said, you know. Now, I've hung out with some older people in my life. I always seem to find them, you know. Now, when I was down there living with my dad in Florida, there was a lady 2 doors down from him, and she was very, very different. Okay, we're talking about Granny Brown, okay? Granny Brown lived in a house that had kerosene. The floors creaked when you walked through them. I always went through the back door. She really did have a feather bed, trust me. I wouldn't lie. Okay, she had a little blue hat on. She was very thin. I'd sit in her kitchen and I'd drink iced tea with her and eat angel food cake. The whole place smelled like, you know, burning kerosene, you know, hurricane lamps and different things. But yeah, we'd go out in the yard and I'll never forget her. She'd grab something off this tree and put it in her mouth like snuff or a piece of bark, a chew. But she was cool, you know. She wasn't a rough person. She was very frail. She didn't really tell a lot of stories. She didn't really have to. She was the story. You know what I mean? She was like one of these people that don't got a lot to say, but just looking at them, you're like, wow, you're interested. I like eccentric people. Maybe I'm eccentric. I probably am. Because of the people that I've been around and the people that have inspired me in my life. My grandmother, she was pretty cool as well, you know. You know, she made big matzo ball soup and did a lot of kosher food, set up a table decent, right? The linen, the Manischewitz wine, you got it, it's there. You know, and as a child, when you're introduced to these type of traditions and gefilte fish and Manischewitz wine and just, you know, men wearing yarmulkes and just, you could feel the presence of God. You really could. Now, I can feel the presence of a lot of different things. Sometimes we're not supposed to go everywhere. You know, you want to go where it's peaceful. There's, you know, love and kindness and hospitality. So my grandmother was wonderful. I've always liked being around older people. I like young children too as well. They're fun to talk to and tell stories to and let them teach you things, you know. But it's the people that have in your life, you know. Me and my grandma, you know, she used to iron and starch her clothes, you know, and take that Coke bottle and put a little aluminum spray thing attached to it and sprinkled it and rolled things up, you know, and then unfolded them and ironed them. People did things different a long time ago. And, you know, they say that, you know, oh, you know, when you get older, you know, things are going to change. Things do change, you guys. So if you're really young and you're watching this video right now and you think that you've seen it all, wait till you miss things. Wait till you miss a phone booth. Wait till you miss certain candies. Even Big Macs got real small. So things change, and we have to change with the times, don't we? Because if we don't, then we'll be left behind. So be a lifetime learner, and always know that Miss Cool is thinking about you this evening. And I bought this sheer blue piece of sheer. Now, they didn't even have any blue in the store at Walmart. And then there was a piece rolled up somebody didn't buy. And I'm like, that is exactly the color I wanted. Can you believe that? Sometimes when you think about things, it can come to pass. A lot of people have beliefs in that. My son's big on it too. Well, we always were too. Like if you think really hard about somebody and they call, you could actually say, I was just thinking about you. I was thinking about a piece of blue sheer. I thought, well, these blinds aren't working out for me. They close, they open. Sometimes the pieces there, the slats, they break, they fall. So I was like, I need a sheer piece of material. Not the wrong blue. This has got to be a soft blue to go with this blue I've got going on. I really enjoy blue. I used to not like blue. I used to like red, but you can discover a lot about yourself with the colors you're attracted to. Go ahead and look it up, different things. But yeah, I really enjoy being around blue. I like being around pink, but I like being around blue. And it's a wonderful day today, isn't it? Sing a song, have some joy, push into things that are uncomfortable, okay? That means that you want to get out of your comfort zone. That means that you want to, if you haven't done something that keeps crossing your mind, just go do it, will you? Get out there and do something that's been bugging you. And you know what? You're going to feel better once you do that, honestly. So try not to put too many things off, will you? You can, sing, you can write, you can do art, you can walk, you can, it's all a state of mind, trust me. So you don't want to get too far down in the ditch. Now, I got a few people in my life, one in particular that's very repetitive, speaks a lot about depressing things in his life, and it's very sad if you're around that. Because sometimes you just got to peacefully throw some seeds and hope they grow. That only you can change that, Only you can change, yourself. Your good Lord can help you, but it's a desire to want to try to, snap yourself out of like thinking that, sometimes what you need and want is exactly what you shouldn't have. We just have to be accountable for our happiness. Therapy's taught me that. I haven't been in therapy in a while, but what the therapist that I did have in the past to deal with things, one in particular stood out. He was a wonderful therapist named Dean. In fact, he was blind. I've met some blind people in my life, and they seem to be very unique and loving. But Dean, he said, like one day I said, if you have anxiety or anger or things, you know what he told me? I'm going to share this with you. He said, that's you saying that you should fix something. So if you have anxiety, if you're angry or something's going wrong or you just can't figure things out, it's up to you to fix that. That's yourself saying something's wrong, something needs to change, and you need to fix that. So find your own way, and if you're happy doing that, then that's always going to be a plus. But if it's a struggle and it becomes like, I don't know, hate to talk about my own people, but the Jewish people, they can't fulfill any of those laws. I mean, it's just impossible. So, and I have a lot of other friends. I don't want to talk bad about them, but if it's bothering you now for me to start bringing up Jesus Christ from Nazareth, you might want to turn me off because I'm going to speak of him. Okay. So Jesus from Nazareth, he became the law. Okay. So that way we don't have to do these treacherous, traditions that people work and work and work for. That is not what he said. See, he said he was a gift. And so when somebody gives you a gift, what do? Do you say thank you? Of course you do. Does it make you smile or feel kind of warm and fuzzy? You gotta give. So if Jesus is the gift and the prize and the lamb, and he's a great teacher, wouldn't he want us not to try to mimic him? Wouldn't it be an insult? It would be an insult, right? Well, that's how I look at it. It'd be a total insult for anybody to think that they could do anything that God can't. So what we do is we just be quiet. And we wait. We wait on the Lord. And when sometimes people pass, you can cherish those memories, can't you? Like Grace Robinson, that took me, a stranger, a young little girl, in a room with thousands of Arizona Highway magazines and made me read that last page. I think about her. I hope I could teach somebody something like that. Here I am, 67 years old, and I'm thanking Grace Robinson because nobody else had me read a poem. God bless you tonight. It's Miss Cool Sam. Do something nice for somebody, will you? It's always good. Teach somebody something. Share a story. And have a good night, will you? God bless you.